Hello, welcome to Biology, the scientific study of life. Non-pituitary hormones help regulate metabolism, homeostasis, development, and behavior. Let's survey the major functions of several non-pituitary hormones and the endocrine glands that produce them. Topic: hormones. From the anterior pituitary control secretion of some, but not all, of these hormones. Thyroid hormones in humans and other mammals. The thyroid gland consists of two lobes located on the ventral surface of the trachea. In many other vertebrates, notice this figure, the two halves of the gland are separated on the two sides of the pharynx. The thyroid gland produces two very similar hormones derived from the amino acid tyrosine, triiodothyronine T3, which contains three iodine atoms, and tetraiodothyronine or thyroxine T4, which contains four iodine atoms. In mammals, the thyroid secretes mainly T4, but target cells convert most of it T2, T3 by removing one iodine atom. Although both hormones are bound by the same receptor protein located in the cell nucleus, the receptor has a greater affinity for T3 than for T4. Notice that. Thus, it is mostly T3 that brings about responses in target cells. The hypothalamus and anterior pituitary control the secretion of thyroid hormones and hence their effects in an animal's body. This process involves a complex non-endocrine pathway with the two negative feedback loops. The thyroid gland plays a crucial role in vertebrate development and maturation. A striking example of the thyroid control of the metamorphosis of a tadpole into a frog, which involves massive recognition of many different tissues. Studies with other non-human animals have shown that thyroid hormones are required for the normal functioning of bone-forming cells and the branching for nerve cells during embryonic development of the brain. The thyroid is equally important in human development. Cretinism, an inherited condition of thyroid deficiency, results in markedly retarded skeletal growth and poor mental development. These defects can often be prevented, at least partially, of treatment if treatment with thyroid hormones begins early in life. The thyroid gland also has important homeostatic functions in adult mammals. For instance, thyroid hormones help maintain normal blood pressure, heart rate, muscle tone, digestion, and reproduction functions through the body. T3 and T4 are important in bioenergetic, generally increasing the rate of oxygen consumption and cellular metabolism. Too much or too little of these hormones in the blood can result in serious metabolic disorders. In humans, excessive secretion of thyroid hormones, known as hyperthyroidism, can lead to high body temperature, profuse sweating, weight loss, irritability, and high blood pressure. The most common form of hyperthyroidism is Graves' disease. Protruding eyes caused by fluid accumulation behind the eyes. Notice that. Are atypical symptoms. Hypothalamus or hypothyroidism, the opposite condition, can cause cretinism in infants and produce symptoms such as weight gain, lethargy, and intolerance to cold in adults. A deficiency of iodine in the diet can result in goiter and enlargement of the thyroid gland. Without sufficient iodine, the thyroid gland cannot synthesize adequate amounts of T3 and T4, and the resulting low blood levels of T3 and T4 cannot exert the usual negative feedback on the hypothalamus and anterior pituitary. Consequently, the pituitary continues to secrete TCH, elevating TCH levels and enlarging the thyroid. In addition to the cells that produce T3 and T4, the mammalian thyroid gland contains endocrine cells that produce calcitonin. This hormone acts in conjunction with parathyroid hormone in maintaining calcium homeostasis. Let's talk about parathyroid hormone and calcitonin control of blood calcium. Rigorous homeostatic control of the blood calcium levels is critical because calcium ions Ca to the power 2 positive are essential to the normal functioning of all cells. If a blood Ca to the power 2 positive level falls substantially, skeletal muscles begin to contract convulsively, a condition known as tetany. If not corrected, tetany is fatal. In mammals, two hormones with opposite actions, parathyroid hormone and calcitonin, play a major role in maintaining blood CO to the power positive level near a set point of about 10 milligram each 100 millimeter. When blood Ca to the power 2 positive level falls below this set point, parathyroid hormone PTH is released. PTH is produced by four small structures, the parathyroid glands, that are embedded in the surface of the thyroid. PTH raises the level of blood Ca to the power 2 positive by direct and indirect effects. In bone, PTH induces specialized cells called osteoclasts to decompose the mineralized matrix of bone and release Ca to the power 2 positive into the blood. In the kidneys, it directly stimulates reabsorption of Ca to the power 2 positive through the renal tubules. PTH also has an indirect effect of the kidneys, promoting the conversion of vitamin D to its active hormone form. An inactive form of vitamin D, a steroid-derived molecule, is obtained from food or synthesized in the skin. Activation of vitamin D begins in the liver and is completed in the kidneys, a process stimulated by PTH. The active form of vitamin D acts directly on the intestines, stimulating the uptake of Ca to the power 2 positive from food and thus augmenting the effect of PTH. A rise in blood Ca2 to the power positive level above the set point promotes release of calcitonin from the thyroid gland. Calcitonin exerts effects on bone and kidneys opposite to those of pH, and thus lowers of blood Ca to the power 2 positive level. The regulation of blood Ca to the power positive to level illustrates how two hormones with opposite effects, in this case PTH and calcitonin, balance each other, exerting tight regulation and maintaining homeostasis. Each hormone functions in a simple endocrine pathway in which the hormone secreting cells themselves monitor the variable being regulated. Notice also in classic feedback fashion, the response to either hormone triggers release of the antagonistic hormone, thereby minimizing fluctuations in the concentration of Ca to the power 2 positive in the blood. Insulin and glucagon control of blood glucose. Although the pancreas is considered a major endocrine gland, hormone secreting cells make up only 1 to 2% of its weight. The rest of the pancreas produces bicarbonate ions and digest enzymes, which are released into small ducts and carried to the small intestine via the pancreatic duct. Tissues and glands that discharge secretions into ducts are described as exocrine. Thus, the pancreas is a dual endocrine and exocrine gland with important functions in both the endocrine and digestive systems. Clusters of endocrine cells is or the eye cells of Langerhans are scattered through the exocrine tissue of the pancreas. Each eye cell has a population of alpha cells which produce the hormone glucagon, and a population of beta cells which produce the hormone insulin. Both of these protein hormones, like all endocrine signals, are secreted into the extracellular fluid and enter the circulatory system. Insulin and glucagon are antagonistic hormones that regulate the concentration of glucose in the blood. This is a critical bioenergetic and homeostatic function, because glucose is a major fuel for cellular respiration and a key source of carbon skeletons for the synthesis of other organic compounds. Metabolic balance depends on maintaining blood glucose concentrations near a set point, which is about 90 milligram each 100 millimeter in humans. When blood glucose exceeds this level, insulin is released and its effects lower blood glucose concentration. When blood glucose drops below the set point, glucagon is released and its effects increase blood glucose concentration. Each hormone operates in a simple endocrine pathway that is regulated by a negative feedback. The combination of the two pathways permits precise regulation of blood glucose. Okay, thanks for listening.